Well, good afternoon, everyone. Leland live on your radio. Guest host April Marie. You can find me on X at APRYLMARIE. You can, of course, find the podcast of this on the website afterwards. And for those of you who watch, you can find us on YouTube. It's Real Talk 99.5 TV. I have to go make sure my sound is off because earlier I did this and I pulled it up so that I could text with those watching on the YouTube and I had the sound up and it's a whole thing. It is Ash Wednesday, so if you tune in, that's what's going on there. If you are a Catholic, don't forget to get to Mass today as a day of holy obligation. There are services all over town, so catch yourself a Mass. I am excited. My boys today was their first day I'm excited to hear back from my boys about their first day going to school with Ashes. Usually we go to the PM service, but today I'm here with you guys during that Mass. So they went to school with Ashes for the first time. Okay, we have been talking all things education, and that is because there was a ALEC report that gave Alabama a B plus. We're ranked number 12 in the nation, and I have to say, I mean that's pretty high considering where we were not that many years ago before the Choose Act, before we started getting more charter schools online and passed our charter school bills. We actually just got a boatload of money from the federal government for more charter schools. Charter schools is a conversation for a different day. We are not, I will not be happy with our charter schools until they are willing and able to shut down the charter school that has invited drag queens multiple times. You cannot convince me that just because it's school choice, it should be a charter school. Don't make it a private school. You want to have a school that has teaches all sorts of radical ideology and brings drag queens and lets kids wear, pet ears and tails to school. Go make it a private school. As a matter of fact, if it's a private school, at this point, you can still qualify, do certain things and qualify for Choose Act money. There should not be a publicly funded school that does what Magic City Acceptance Academy does. That mother was just talking about the LGBTQ agenda and telling kids that little girls can be boys and boys can be girls, and the absolute ridiculousness that is poisoning our kids' minds. And it's happening here in Alabama. It's actually happening about a block from me, from where I'm sitting at this moment. And it's happening in schools all across the state. If you find it, by the way, if you find pride flags in your kid's school, if you find pride flags in your kid's classroom, I want you to tell me. Because I guarantee you, if there is a teacher with a pride flag on their door or in their classroom, they're teaching divisive concepts. They are indoctrinating your kids because you know what? No teacher needs to be talking to kids anywhere K through 12 about their sexuality. It should not happen. There's no reason or excuse for it. And you can't convince me there is, oh, they need to feel welcomed. You don't need to be talking to grade school, middle school, or high school kids about their sexuality. No, you certainly don't need to be pushing this radical idea that tells them God put them in their wrong body. No, we're going to draw the line. So I am actually not done getting the legislature to address this until that law is passed that says none of that. When we have our kids reading at grade level, doing math at grade level, writing at grade level, understanding the other parts of U.S. history and civics and all of that stuff, then you can talk to me about bringing in your radical ideology. But that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But I tell people, come talk to me when our kids can read at grade level. Then you can talk to me about teachers pushing their personal opinion. Makes me so angry. Okay, Tommy on the line. Hello, Tommy.
Hey, April Marie, I got a question for you. I live in Birmingham. My daughter goes to a private school. She wants to go to Mount Brook. We don't live in Mount Brook. How does that work for her if that's an option?
So you can't. So that is one area. If you look at the report I wrote, that is one area in the state and I do not see any. I honest to God don't see that changing. One of the criteria that Alex scores states on is whether or not you can do move around to different schools. Right now, you cannot move. You can't change. So if you're zoned for Birmingham, you can't go to Mountain Brook. If you're zoned, if even within some of these school districts, you can't switch schools if you're zoned for a particular school. It's a very interesting and somewhat controversial school choice idea that it should just everybody can go anywhere, but you can't do that.
Even though she goes to private school.
Nope. You can only go in the state of Alabama to the public school you're zoned for, with a few exceptions because Birmingham is trying to do a weird racial. I don't even know how to describe it, but I wrote a story about it about a year ago. Birmingham or Jefferson County, I think it's actually Jefferson County. I have to go back and look. It allows kids, like kids, can move into predominantly black schools if they want to. So there is some change you can do in some of these districts, but primarily the answer is 99.9% of the time you can only go to the school you're zoned for.
Gotcha. Okay, thank
Yep,
you.
no problem. So yeah, and they do that in Alabama is weird. A lot of the states around the country, your school district is going to be your county. How many you basically Florida has 67 counties. They've got 67 school districts. We, on the other hand, have school districts just in this area, in the greater Birmingham area. Mountain Brook's its own system. Birmingham's its own system. Then there's Jefferson County schools. Then there's Homewood schools, and they're all independent in that you can't. If you live in, I always say I live in Birmingham proper. If you live in Birmingham proper, you can't go to a Homewood school. Mountain Brook, there's been different things where even their teachers, if you are a teacher at a Mountain Brook school, your kids can't go to Mountain Brook school if you don't live there. And they do this for a number of reasons. One is the biggest thing is, of course, the funding. So the tax bases, the tax rate in some of these districts is much higher than the other. And so, and there's already overcrowding schools at some of these smaller areas anyway. All right, I have talked myself all the way through the education stuff. I wanted to get into a couple of things. I mentioned earlier some breaking news today. Barry Moore got J.D. Vance's endorsement. That means he's the first person in the state to cinch both President Donald Trump and J.D. Vance's endorsement. That came about 1:30 this afternoon. Looking at Montgomery, and I said this yesterday, I really hope people pay attention to the legislative session in the legislative days. Right now, today is legislative day number 14. There will be up to 30. There will be 30 legislative days. The only thing they have to pass, by the way, is the budget. So they're moving things in and out. Their bills are being passed. We saw earlier, I mentioned the death penalty for child predators passed. Also earlier today, Governor Kay Ivey signed a bill, and I need to pull it up to give you the specifics of it after this next break. But there was a bill about kids and social media and app restrictions, making sure that parents have to approve the apps their kids have. I don't know why we needed a law on this because I feel like I say this. I don't know why we needed a law on this. I'm supportive of app limits for parents, but here's the thing. I know everything that's on my kids' devices, okay? I absolutely do. They can't get it. They can't get an app without me approving it, and it's been that way ever since they got a device. They have limited device time and everything's monitored. But today is a good day to be talking about that because Mark Zuckerberg is in the hot seat. I don't know if y'all have been watching this today. And some things that have come out is the way that the goals that social media have for Facebook and X and all the things have for trying to get increase activity. And no one, and this is Katie Britt has led the way on this, and I've been really supportive. There is no positive, I'm going to say this slowly, there is no positive response for a teenager to be on social media. Keep them off. We have parental rights, and I am all for 100% for parental rights. And I'm going to tell you as a parent, as a grandparent, as a guardian, as a caregiver, keep the kids off social media. There is no upside. There is no upside to social media. This is where the indoctrination is taking place. This is where they're watching the TikToks and they're getting all the liberal ideas. This is where they're getting oh, go ahead and if your parents don't affirm that you're a boy in a girl's body or a girl in a boy's body or you're a they, them, go ahead and just leave your family. We'll be your family. That's not creepy or anything. This is where the kids are getting all sorts of hate. This is where the girls are being body shamed. Now there's AI manipulation of pictures. There's all of this stuff on the internet. There's a movement to take kids and where parents and big friend groups are saying, okay, no devices, no cell phone. We're going back to old landlines. I'm 100% supportive of that. Do you remember how many of you, I'm 44 years old, remember taking the phone, not even having a portable phone at the time, taking the phone off the wall and running the crazy long line to your bedroom door as far away from your family as you could, hoping that your friend's mother didn't answer the phone, wondering who's calling, jump, all that. Let's bring that back because what we're seeing instead, kids on social media, kids texting each other, is a level of bullying and harassment, a level of an introduction to ideas and images and all of these things that are just poison to their young minds. And it's a level of evil. It's absolutely a level of evil, and it's getting to your kids no matter how much values you instill in them. If they have a device, then they could be subject to all sorts of negative things. If they have social media, they have been introduced to it. They have. So Alabama passed this law. I'm going to read the governor's statement on that when we come back from this break. You guys hold tight. I'll also give you an update on some of the other bills that are moving today. April Murray here, filling in for Leland. Well, good afternoon, everyone. April Marie here, filling in for Leland. I how many of y'all use group chats? I have to stop looking at my group chats while I'm on air because there's some madness happening in one of my group chats and I can't keep a straight face. I don't even know what I was talking about. AJ, do you have any good group chats? Do you guys at Breaking Bread have a group chat?
Yeah. We have group chats. Sometimes it's like very important stuff the things that we're gonna be talking about in the show, and then some of the stuff you'd be like, "Yo, like really? Come on, man! It's like 2:00 in the morning. Why you text me that?"
Like, where did that idea come from? Yes, I am the single girl in my group chat, and so from time to time, people get ideas about what my personal life should look like, and I just like stopped looking at a group chat for an hour and came back to several recommendations of men I should be talking to, and I have no words. This is what happens when I spend an afternoon with you guys. My friends get a little silly. I can't.
Are they trying to hook you up with somebody?
They have ideas. They have it.
Mm.
I don't date actually. It is a very odd thing. I get it. But now that I've got the streak going, now that I am not kidding, it's been
So now I'm
two and
kind
a
of
half
curious.
years or something.
Now I'm kind of curious. Who they think your ideal guy should be?
So the current one is a single father who loves his kids and all the things. But I'm still like,
It sounds like a Lifetime movie.
it does sound like a Lifetime. But
Yeah.
doesn't that, or a Hallmark, like
So
we'll wait
do you
till
consider
wait till the holidays. and
But I
then
mean, do you
introduce them.
consider yourself a city girl or a country girl?
Oh gosh, I'm a suburban girl. I need to be close enough to the city to go
Okay.
to a Jelly Roll concert, but far enough away where I
Ooh,
can
that's
have
what's going to happen.
a big yard.
That's what's going to happen.
What?
You're going to run into the guy from the country who has a daughter that his wife unfortunately had passed.
Oh yeah, the widow.
Yeah. And then what's going to happen is the little girl, you're like almost going to hit her with your car.
Oh gosh,
Because
this is the craziest Hallmark movie ever.
Right. Because then, because you were texting frantically, getting the story in
Oh, that's what.
for
Yeah.
1819 News, and you're running behind because you had to go pick up
Story
your
of my
daughter.
life.
And one of her.
That's my meet
many,
cute.
Yeah, and then and then yeah. So you don't actually hit the girl because
Yeah,
you see
that
her
would
at the
ruin the
last
whole movie.
minute,
Yeah.
right? And then you stop and you get out and be like, oh my God, are you okay? And then he's gonna come in his overalls.
He's gonna be dashing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Hold on, he's wearing overalls.
Yeah, this is a concert.
My-
I don't know. I'm trying. Just work with me. Just work with me. All right. Just work with me. I ain't say this is gonna be the final cut, but just work with a brother. All right.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, he's gonna have overalls on.
Okay.
And he's with a nice little plaid shirt. I'm thinking maybe a brownish greenish kind of color.
You really have seen some Hallmark movies,
Oh
haven't
yeah,
you?
I have.
Because it's always that way.
Yeah.
It's always and I've done something in the day where I'm actually dressed business because it's always that way. She looks like she's dressed for business
Right.
when she meets the guy who looks like it would be her polar opposite in his
Right.
country.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Ma'am, would you like to go ahead and get some coffee from Starbucks?" And then you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, my coffee macchiato." That's gonna be your nickname for him. And then y'all gonna get into a little fight because there might be a little bit differences. Not really in politics. I'm trying to think what we could be.
He's not Catholic. He's Baptist.
Right.
Our biggest conflict
Yeah.
is that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he wants you to come to a small church, on Sunday.
This is amazing.
And then you get a chance to see his meemaw, his pawpaw, his his
so
G-ma.
There's so much happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you fall in love, and the little girl looks at you. He's like, "Will you be my new mommy?" And you like, "Oh my God, this is so precious." And you start crying, and then you turn around, and he's on one knee.
Oh
And
wow.
then he asks you to marry him, and then you say yes, and then
And then happily ever after.
yes.
Okay, that right there, you heard it. It's the 99.5 Hallmark mix here.
If we were, and this might be a thought, obviously, We got some time to do
I-
this. Richard Dixon, I know you're probably listening. You wrote the Christmas extravaganza.
He
we
did
need to do a
write.
play.
Oh,
We should make this into a play.
we didn't do plays last year,
No, we
and
didn't.
it really hurt my heart.
Yeah, we should
I
do a
probably
play.
would have skipped out on the 1819 Christmas party to
Yeah.
come to the Christmas
We would've
event
rearranged it.
had there been a
Yeah.
play. Because
Matter of fact,
it
maybe we
was
should
fun.
combine the play with the 1819
Christmas party.
Christmas party.
For those of you who have not been and seen Richard's plays, I've been in 2 of them now, and they're very entertaining.
Well,
One was a Charlie Brown theme.
yeah, that was with Bird.
Yep,
Yeah, and then he got let go.
and,
so
and then he came back.
He came back
And then
like
he came
years.
back. Andrew's not the same without John Bird.
Oh no, he had a pity party when he was gone.
It-
He was sad. Like I had to go and like have conversations with him. Like, hey man, come on, you still gotta do your show. Can't be like that. Can't be
Bless him.
sad. But I mean, but when that's the thing. When you have a system,
Yeah,
I don't know.
you
You've
get
been,
used
you
to it.
get used to it.
If we took you away from Leland,
Oh yeah,
he would weep.
No.
It would
Yeah.
be worse than Andrew and
Yeah.
and John Bird. It would be
Yeah.
a whole situation.
Leland probably like, I'll retire now. I'm gone. I know.
Leland be like, I'll give you Jessica, give me back AJ.
No, he probably won't do that. Because look, she makes some really good sourdough bread.
That's it.
Man, that stuff was so good.
I didn't get mine. There was a time.
See what
when
had happened was.
she was like, she was like, did you get your sourdough bread? I was like, that was sourdough bread for me.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to get that to you, huh?
And no,
I'm sorry.
I did not get that.
Yeah, see what had happened was, I didn't know when you was gonna be here, and I didn't. And then I didn't know you had changed
So
your
much
number because I didn't realize this was you at first.
I got nothing.
You know.
Do you hear this excuses, guys?
Well, I mean, you had changed your number. I mean, unless you got like 15 phones over there.
I have 2. I have two phone numbers.
Okay, so you've been texting me. One had like a L.A. Telephone number or a California telephone number,
No,
right?
the 321 number is my Florida number. 'cause
Okay,
I'm from-
Florida number.
So, okay, in case this is for those who have my personal cell phone number, which is pretty much like everybody, but there's I will not get rid of my cell phone number and I've had it since college. Like it's been a minute. And every now and again I'll get a message and it'll be somebody that I haven't talked to in a million years and they need something because my hobby in life, like one of my favorite things in life is to help friends out. So if you've got a kid who's going off and needs an internship or you need a recommendation for something or whatever it is, I'm the weird person. So I keep my Florida number and then I have an Alabama number. So that's the whole thing. Okay, we have totally, I don't know what this last 15 minutes was. On back to the talk line on YouTube, you can message me. I don't have access to the regular message line. AJ has access to that, but on the regular message line. But on the YouTube, someone said,
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have like had my headphones on. I was taking the phone call. So, Toby said that he's gonna be cooking and cleaning all the time as well too. So you ain't gotta do nothing but just come home.
"Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
Okay, we got a whole thing going. We're this plot is getting thicker,
Yeah.
and the guy's sounding more appealing. Although I still have questions about the overalls.
Well, I do have somebody said that this is from Leslie. I married a Baptist who converted, now works for EWTN.
Oh wow!
And is yeah.
Okay.
So it still works. If you get into the
They made it
movement.
work.
Yeah.
Okay.
They made
there
it
you go.
work.
All right, we're gonna get back to news. There's a weird leadership change in the Republican caucus in Montgomery that has come out in the last 2 days. We have got AJ in stitches on the text line, so I can't wait for these
Someone said
comments.
he owns a Christmas tree farm.
Of course, he owns a Christmas tree farm. Is there Christmas tree farms around here in Alabama?
I don't know, but he owns the largest one in Alabama.
All right, back in a minute with more of AJ's Hallmark drama. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I've gotten myself comfortable over here, by the way. If you're watching on the live stream, I am kicked back. AJ and I somehow went from my group text to AJ writing the screenplay for for a. You didn't tell me this was a hidden talent.
Hmm.
On your days off, are you writing plays and pitching
I
TV
try. I
ideas?
try.
Very
It never
entertaining.
never comes to production.
Oh, okay.
It just stays in the board. When we talk at the boardroom, when we're talking about ideas and we throw the ideas out.
You need
Um,
to make your own play. You know how Dixon did the play,
I just don't have the time. I just don't have the patience to sit down and write it out.
and
I
do
can
it.
talk it,
Oh.
but
Well, you
as
know, if
far,
you use your voice memo on you have an Apple phone, right?
yeah,
Voice memo on your phone will transcribe everything you say.
yeah, I just don't have time
So
to be on.
all you do is you
Yeah,
talk it into your
yeah,
phone, and then you get a Word document. It's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
I realized last night, and this I love how I'm saying this on air, but I realized last night that Leland isn't on Apple iPod, the podcast thing.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that because it was, and then I don't know why it doesn't do that anymore.
So the Apple Podcast will transcribe all the podcasts, but his wasn't there, so I had to transcribe it myself. It was the whole thing. Anyway, go ahead. The phone lines are ringing 205-545-9950. It has been a afternoon of mainly talking about education and school choice and all the things. I had two questions over on the YouTube page. One of which was that a question about whether or not public schools or homeschool students should be able to attend career tech centers. It was something I brought up when I was talking to Scott Ortiz earlier. And what are my thoughts on that? And I said I absolutely believe they should be, because one of the things that here's the deal: the public school system is actually benefiting, and I know this is good. This is going to be a controversial opinion, but it's benefiting from kids being homeschooled, because that means smaller classroom sizes for the ones that are there, and more dedicated, time and space for the ones who are there. Now, in the state of Alabama with the Choose Act, if you go to a private school, you get the school can pay up to $7,000 a year for the tuition. If you're homeschooled, you only get $2,000 worth of resources. So homeschool kids are still allowed to play sports, and they should absolutely be able to do college readiness classes and career tech centers and all of those other benefits, because they are a part of, they're still a part of that community, and these things benefit that. Okay, debatable point. I agree, but Tech currently has a waiting list of 300 public school kids next year. How do we make a spot without denying them that for public schools? I say we start reinvesting our resources. We know that not every kid is going to be career ready. Let's invest in these. And I think Ortiz said that's one of the things he wants to do. Heard other he's a candidate, but I've heard other lawmakers talk about this. It was a big issue when I went to the Mid Alabama Republican Club meeting, which, by the way, is my favorite. I don't know if I'm allowed to have favorites. I'm going to get angry text messages from clubs all over the area, but that's my favorite Republican club. It's the Mid Alabama Republican Club. Anybody can go. I highly, highly recommend it. And if you're a woman, the North Shelby Women's Club, also phenomenal. Shout out to them. But in terms of so just one of the we've gained watchers, we've lost watchers. One of the things that these clubs do is they allow you to hear from lawmakers, and so I'm going to get back into this. All right, switching gears from our Hallmark movie, because we've gone totally, the train has gone off the tracks. My girlfriend, a good friend of mine from Helena, is listening. It's always good to hear from you. I said Helena. Try that again. Helena and she's from Greenville. Did I get that right? I might have messed that up. It's been a minute since I've given you a shout out on air. But I wanted to talk a little bit about some of what's going on in Montgomery. There was a change in leadership, and you can find that on 1819.com. But the Scott Stadhagen, who is running for to be the chairman of the Republican Party of Alabama, John Wall, resigned the position to go run for lieutenant governor. The co-chair stepped up. I'll tell you why this is important in a minute. She stepped up, and now she's running for chairman. But a state rep from Hartselle is also running for the chairman. That's Representative Scott Stathagen, and he was the majority leader. He was originally going to go on a sabbatical while he ran. Ultimately, ended up he just resigned the position. So it is now that came after a whole bunch of drama, including a leaked recording of a caucus meeting where the speaker was talking about it. Right now, and I think they voted. I think. I'm pretty sure they voted this afternoon. Yes, Paul Lee was elected. Greenville Grammy. See, I did that right. Paul Lee was elected the House Majority Leader today. He is from Dothan. Now, what does it matter who becomes why do these two positions matter? Let's start with the Alabama Republican Party. The Alabama Republican Party, uh, and you've probably seen them about contested races, who qualifies to run as a Republican in the state. They manage that process. They manage where state party resources are for races and elections. So we know that when it comes to the governor's race here in the state of Alabama, Tommy Tuberville will be, facing off with Doug Jones again. Now, Doug Jones, and I painstakingly listened to an interview with Doug Jones. Doug Jones thinks he's going to bring back the same machine that got him elected Senate to get him into the governor's race, or to get him into the governor's mansion. That's not going to happen. Two things that are different. One is Tuberville is not Roy Moore. Two, we now have a record. What Doug Jones did when he was in the U.S. Senate. He ran as if he was going to be a moderate. He was going to be a little bit of a blue dog. He was going to be a little bit more conservative, but he wasn't. He got up there and was a rubber stamp for all of the same Democratic issues that we have seen that has just hijacked the national agenda. He got up there and he was a Pelosi and a Biden, Obama supporter through and through. And now he's been anti-Trump on everything, going so far as to criticize ICE and accuse Trump of maybe coming in and strong-arming the next election cycle and all of these things. He is exactly what a lot of these liberal Democrats are, which it makes no sense, living in an alternate universe, all of those things. The chairman of the Alabama Republican Party will be figuring out and working with the local organizations on where do we get out the vote, where do we spend money as a party, all of these independent things. So it's incredibly important that we have a strong party, which was part of the reason it was somewhat controversial for John Wall to step down as the chairman in such a big election year to run for this seat. Because when it comes to the general, a lot of what happens is based on what the Republican Party is doing. They've got a whole staff there, a political director, they've got a media operation, they do polling, they do all these independent things, independent of the campaigns to get out the vote. And so it's a critical role. And so I want you guys to keep track of what's happening there, and know that position does matter. In terms of the legislature and how they work with the majority leader and all of that stuff and how they get the caucus together. If you look at last week, and for better or worse, the PSC and the implosion of the takeover of the Public Service Commission, what you see is a party that wasn't working together. They weren't communicating. They didn't have all their ducks in the row. There was a little bit of disarray. That's what the majority leader, they're over there, taking vote counts and figuring out what priorities are and working together and answering questions and all of that stuff. These roles, while they seem, like, why do we care? We should care because they carry with them a lot of influence. So that all of these changes just happened. We've got, if you go to 1819 News, Representative Paul Lee gave a quote. Our House Republican caucus must keep its focus on the important issues and initiatives being discussed during the 2026 regular session and finish the job that each of us were sent to Montgomery to complete. At the same time, we must continue representing the conservative beliefs, traditional values, and bedrock Republican principles that our caucus members embrace and share with our constituents back home. Lee serves on the House Ways and Means General Fund Committee, incredibly powerful, and holds a seat on the Legislative Council, which is composed of leaders from the House and Senate and directs most of the operations of the Alabama legislature. Um, keep an eye on this. This is kind of breaking the behind the scenes stuff in Montgomery, but it matters. What happens with the party matters, and what happens within leadership in Montgomery matters. We have seen some, interesting things over the years with leadership. I always tell people, for my taste, the legislature doesn't tend to be as conservative as the voters, and we'll see how that changes, which I wholeheartedly believe it will change when Tuberville's in the governor's mansion. Ivy, not nearly as aggressive as other elected officials we've seen around the country. All right, I'm going to take a break. For those of you who darn near fell out of your chair or tuned out when AJ and I started our Hallmark movie, yeah, we're gonna go back to the politics now, but that was fun. I enjoyed it. All right, back in a minute. You guys are listening to Leland Live with April Murray. Well, good afternoon. April Marie here. AJ, keeping me out of trouble or getting me into some. It depends on who you ask. Uh, I just briefly turned on the Trump Black History Month press conference a little bit earlier. And then we turned it off when one of the women got up, just because you never know how long these things are going to go. You never know what they're going to say. But this woman, who was the family member of a victim of violent crime in Washington, D.C., according to the introduction that we heard briefly, had a lot to say about Trump, including her support. We've got a clip of her I want to play real quick.
I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him. And Grandma said it.
And Grandma said it. So she means it, guys. I love how she knew, because this is how predictable the media is. This is how predictable the left is. That she knew, as a Black woman standing next to Trump, she was going to hear about it from the left. She knew that there would be people who, in spite of his record, which Trump has an incredible record, whether it comes support for HBCUs, whether it comes for funding, whether it comes for not turning a blind eye on crime in Washington, D.C., all of these different areas Trump has a record on. The media will ignore it to go with the narrative he's racist. I was looking during the last break. Someone sent me a J.D. Crowe cartoon. You can look no further. Now, I can hardly tolerate to look at AL.com. And for God knows what reason, I guess they have huge money issues, they put everything behind a paywall, because it's bad enough to read the leftist media outlets. Just like I'll look at it for content, see what they're writing about. But 8 out of 10 of JD's columns have to do with Republicans being racist. Oh, you don't want BLM, blocking roads, and you don't want them committing crimes in Homewood. Racist. Oh, you don't want little white kids being terrorized in their schools by teachers talking about how they're privileged and they're oppressors. Racist. Like, it's nonsensical. But it makes me laugh at a Trump event. This woman stood up there and got ahead of the media narrative, knowing it was coming. That's how predictable the left and the media have become. Each and every time. In every Black History Month, it happens again and again. I ask people, when people are like, oh, Trump's weighing, and this happens when I'm on the radio and I'm talking about the DEI stuff, especially in education and in workforce. Oh, Trump's just racist. And I'm like, really? It's racist to want standards to be even across the board? It's racist to want children of all races, of all ethnicities, of all backgrounds to be treated the same? For no one child to hear, you're an oppressor, you're privileged, you're racist by it's inevitable, you are racist. And that's what our kids were hearing for years. And if you don't believe me, just literally, you can go online and you can put in the flip side, right? We being people with common sense, want to get this stuff out of the classroom. You go to the NEA, and which the NEA is the teachers union. The AEA, the Alabama's Teachers Union, is an affiliate of the NEA. You can go on there, and teachers, there's videos, there's documents, there's lesson plans, there's all of this stuff that, rather than addressing like real issues in our country, is meant to divide us. I'm laughing so hard at this lady because she knew it. And that's what's wrong and sad about our country, that Black people who stand up with President Trump, they know on their side. And I watch it. I follow a number of commentators. Nicki Minaj getting it. You can see when she posts, because now she's all about being at the White House. It was like Elon Musk earlier in the term. Now Nicki Minaj is spending a lot of time with Trump and talking about Trump and all the things. You can see her getting the pushback. Oh, you can't do that. Trump's racist. Okay, well, show me, prove to me. Because if you're talking about getting rid of DEI, that's the opposite of racist. DEI is looking for to put in place policies and procedures that, quite honestly, they serve to hurt white people. That's racism. That's not reverse racism. Nothing bugs me more than that term, by the way. That's straight up racism. Um, his support for colleges, all of these ways and places. And I earlier yesterday, yesterday was talking about the Katie Britt Trump tweet on Trump. You cannot feed into that the video that was taken out of context, and they said, "Here's an example of Trump being racist." Really, or was it an example of a race of not even a racist, a lazy staffer? Love that Trump's getting ahead of this. Looking forward to looking at more of what happened today for the Black History Month event. Back in just a minute, you guys are listening to Leland Live with April Marie. Talked myself right into the final hour.